Last night at approximately 10 p.m., our deputies became aware of some posts on Instagram in particular and on social media regarding threats to local high school students and students here in the Santa Clarita Valley. We take this type of thing very seriously and immediately began an investigation. Detectives assigned here to the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station responded in, some of them responded in from home, off duty, to immediately jump on this investigation and get it started. Through the course of the investigation, we partnered with the school district, we partnered with various social media platforms such as Instagram, and at approximately 10:30 this morning, we detained a juvenile, a resident of the Santa Clarita Valley, in connection with these threats made online. Detectives are continuing their investigation at this time. However, at this time we feel that this particular suspect or juvenile acted alone in this. There were no actual intentions of threats to students. It was done more as a post with no actual intention of harm to the students. During the course of the investigation, the detectives made contact with obviously this juvenile's parents. No weapons were recovered, and nor do the parents of the juvenile own any weapons. There were no weapons in play, and currently the juvenile is in custody with the LA County Probation Department, and this case will ultimately be presented to the LA County District Attorney's Office.
First off, you said that according to the post, there was no threats to students, but I thought in his message on Instagram.
No, I'm sorry, let me clarify. Many of the posts that were made contained hateful type messages, racist, sexist, threats to students, and that's what immediately got the detectives involved. And we take this type of situation and threats like this very, very seriously. Ultimately, through the course of the investigation and once this juvenile was detained, detectives have now learned that this individual allegedly actually had no intention of carrying out these threats. However, still a very, very serious matter.
Why have you questioned him? Has he said why he did this?
We have, and we are currently speaking with him. The investigation is currently ongoing, and it's still under investigation why exactly he did this. Whether it was a kid juvenile prank, it's still yet to be determined.
And this kid, is he also shown holding a gun in one of the pictures?
No, that's a great point. The posts that we viewed and many of the public and parents viewed appear to be stock images taken from the internet. Actually, in one of the posts also you'll see the front of a high school that is actually not even the high school that's here in the Santa Clarita Valley. It's in a completely different part of the state. So it appears that they were stock images, that those images, the juvenile and his parents were not actually in possession of anything that was shown in those images.
But I've spoken to some parents and they're saying, okay, well, we have to take all these things seriously. Obviously,
Absolutely.
Your department is.
Absolutely.
But she wants some reassurances that tomorrow, no matter where it is in the Santa Clarita Valley, whether it be high school or in the kindergarten classroom, that there will be a police presence or something to
Absolutely.
give them assurances.
Absolutely. And our supervision staff here at the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station, we're working with them, we're working with the school district officials, and I'll actually let Gail comment here in a second. But we will have extra deputies at all the different various schools, high schools here in the Santa Clarita Valley. All of our deputies here at the station are aware of this situation, and again, all of our deputies take this type of thing very, very seriously. We are working with parents, we're doing a lot of social media outreach, we're working with the school district.
And let me ask you this, even though you said that he didn't have guns, or his parents didn't have guns, or access to guns, is what I'm understanding, right?
Correct.
Okay. What kind of punishment can he face?
Well, right now, as this investigation is ongoing, we're going to gather up all of the evidence in this case, and we're going to present it to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. Depending on what charges are being filed, the punishment varies in that. Right now, he is being detained on felony threat charges.
And LA County Probation?
Right, he's in custody of the LA County Probation Department right now. I'm going to let Gail.
The 3 photos that were posted, there were some people that liked those photos. One, in fact, didn't apply one of the posts.
Absolutely.
With an emoji. Are those people being investigated by Instagram or by you guys?
It's all part of our active investigation right now. And we're not releasing any details as far as that investigation. Obviously, we don't want to taint the investigation, but the investigation as of right now is still ongoing and still very active.
Is that a crime to do that, to like a post that indicates some sort of violence?
You know, it's hard to say how the investigation is going to turn out. So,
And you think the primitive is a male teenager that allegedly committed this?
I think Gail can.
15 years old.
Well, and how safe is it for the children if there's other people
You wanna-
playing?
When she answered.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Answer that safety
Uh,
question.
I'm sorry.
How
What was?
safe is the children if these kids are liking that post? I mean, seriously, I mean, I mean, it's like a domino effect, isn't it?
Right. I'm gonna look this way. I'm answering you though. She brings up an outstanding point. You know, this is the first week of school for many of our, you know, throughout LA County, many of our students. And now is a great time to have an open dialogue with your students about the powers of social media, you know, the worldwide reach of social media, and how law enforcement, parents, students, you know, community residents all take posts, whether or not you intended them to be true or not, take this stuff very, very seriously.
First, I'd like to say how grateful we are for the quick action of the Sheriff's Department. We have a great partnership with them in a lot of areas in the city of Santa Clarita, and it was through their effort, starting in the middle of the night when many of us were still asleep, that they were already investigating this situation.
What can you tell us about the suspect here, average age? How old is he?
Right now what we're saying is that he is a juvenile male and he is a high school student in one of our local high schools here in the Santa Clarita Valley. We have 16 schools total, junior highs and high schools. We are the local high school district served by 4 feeder elementary schools. Our district serves about 22,800 students.
How can you reassure parents in the area that their kids are going to feel safe and secure when they go to school tomorrow?
We have been working with the Sheriff's Department for many years in this area. We have secure campuses, and in partnership with them also we have been assured that they'll have extra presence on all of our campuses tomorrow, as well as we also do on a daily basis have school resource officers on our campuses.
What can you tell others who do this kind of stuff, who go take to social media and either pull pranks or try to scare people, or who may even want to follow through with her?
As Deputy Dubin mentioned, we will prosecute. There will be consequences for any students that pull a prank like this. We take it very seriously. First thing this morning, several of us were on the phone with the Sheriff's Department and all taking it very seriously for the investigation of this as well. We want to assure parents that student and staff safety is our #1 priority on campus. We want to have a comfortable learning environment for our students while on campus, and that is extremely important to us.
Was this student a good student? I mean, you're not giving any information about his name or anything, but can you tell us, was he doing well at school? Is he well liked? What can you tell us a little bit more about him?
I have no information on the student at this time.
Any of the deputies have any information on? I mean, just the kind of, is this a guy a troubled individual? Does he?
Yeah, no history right now on the juvenile.
I mean, does he appear to be a polite person? What was his demeanor like when you had him investigated?
That I don't know. The investigators talked to him, but as far as his background goes, this time I don't know.
Okay. But we do know that he's 15. Am I right?
Yes, he is 15 years old, a local high school student.
Okay.
And the Sheriff's Department does actively and aggressively investigate and prosecute these type of cases. We use local, state, and federal resources if needed.
And how about his parents? How are they reacting to this?
They're actually very cooperative.
Were they surprised?
They were definitely surprised during the search warrant, but they're very, very cooperative with the investigators.
Did you confiscate his computer? Did you, have you gone in with, he's talking about the search warrant. What kind of items did you take?
That's still part of the ongoing investigation at this time.
You said you were in contact with social media sites. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Did you contact Facebook? Did you contact Instagram? And what did they tell you? What did they do to help?
I can tell you this, that we did contact Instagram, and they were cooperative for our investigation.
you don't believe that there's anybody else connected or possibly related to this? I thought I read somewhere in some publication that there may have been others that the department is looking into. Right?
No, that's not true. Based on our investigation, he acted alone.
Has he had any background trouble, any history with this individual? Is this the first time?
At this time, I'm not sure about that. We're still looking at his background this time by the investigators.
Were his computer and cell phones confiscated as well?
That's still part of the investigation. Yeah, at this time.
But can you be precise in about the extra law enforcement you plan to have tomorrow at the schools? Will they be at all schools, beefed up security, or is it just some schools?
It'll be at all schools, and specifically the high schools throughout Santa Clarita Valley. Any other questions?
Is there anything you don't want students to do tomorrow?
Stay home. We wanted to go to
stay home.
We wanted to go to school, and that we're going to be there, and we're going to have an extra presence, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be there. We can understand the parents' concerns about this kind of an incident, but believe me, we take it very serious, have zero tolerance, and we investigate very aggressively anything that happens.
And tomorrow is the third day of school, right? Am I right?
Correct. Third day of school, first full week of school.
Are there going to be police officers at the junior high and elementary school tomorrow?
Yes.
There are.
Yes.
And total 16.
Is this the same individual that was responsible for the SCP purge?
No. That's different.
For sports, will you be patrolling after school?
Yes, we'll be there in the morning, before school, during the patrols, during the school day, and also after school for pickup.
Will there be, and I'm kind of reaching far with this, are counselors going to be on hand just in case there are kids that are just, still nervous about going to school?
I'm going to answer that.
Yes, our counselors will be on hand, as well as the local organization SCV Youth Project, which serves in some of our schools and offers support in that area to students who may have extra concern or anxiety tomorrow as well.
There's a total of 16 schools in this district?
Yes. 7th through 12th grade, junior highs and high schools.
I have a quick question. This being the second incident involving social media, do you guys have a common message to students and people that age for use of social media and kind of
Oh, I got you.
You know what, as I mentioned before, especially with this being the first full week of school, now is a perfect time to have an open dialogue with your child about the powers of social media. We've had other incidents like this, as you were just mentioning, here in the Santa Clarita Valley, and it's not something that is Santa Clarita specific. This is something that is now worldwide, with social media being as prevalent as it is. Anybody using social media, from youth to teenager to adult, needs to understand the worldwide reach and the consequences of posting something, especially when it comes to threats and posts like that nature. Law enforcement, I know specifically the LA County Sheriff's Department, all of our stations, including the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station, makes it routine to listen to social media, listen to what people are saying, engage with people. We have a common message that, social media is powerful and it needs to be, treated with respect, and obviously, it comes with some responsibility. So now is a perfect time to dialogue with your child or with your teenager regarding the powers of social media, what platforms they're on, and once you hit the send button, there's no take backs. So it's very powerful stuff.
How were you alerted to this?
We originally began receiving telephone calls from concerned parents and residents, and throughout the night we received more and more phone calls. Many of our deputies here at the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station and throughout the LA County Sheriff's Department are engaged in social media, and we engaged the public in social media, so we were able to then access the accounts also.
I just want to add one thing also. To go along with what Deputy Dubin said, we sent a message out to all of our parents, all 23,000 plus parents, early this morning, just acknowledging that there was a threat that we were aware of, and that we take these threats very seriously, and that we were working with the Sheriff's Department and looking forward to positive results on this. which did happen. And by around 1 o'clock today, we did send another message via email to all of our parents and our staff as well. When our principals have been on board since this morning regarding the arrest, and that we're very grateful to the Sheriff's Department for all their hard work all night on this situation, and so that families can rest assured that their students will be safe at school tomorrow.
And, just want to double check, the high school that this 15-year, he must have been a sophomore, freshman?
I'm not sure at this point.
Years old.
Right. It could be, there's a couple-year range. It could be probably actually over a 3-year range if a student can be with any age.
I've heard about the high school that he attended. Are you going forward to say that? I mean,
no, we're just stating that he was a local high school student in one of our high schools. Additionally, I just want to point out also, as Deputy Dubin mentioned, we're very, very concerned about social media and things like sexting and also pranks and threats like this. And just this past spring, the Sheriff's Department, in conjunction with the City of Santa Clarita and support by the Hart School District, put on a social media workshop for parents. And that's something that's happening on a regular basis in this community. Safety of our students, as I mentioned, and the whole community is very, very important to all of us that live, work, and play here. And those types of workshops will continue, and we encourage parents to watch what their kids are doing and also just have a better understanding of how to handle this new technology and work with their students on this. So keep your eyes out for that, and we will be holding more of those in the future as well.
Earlier you said that the schools all have a secure campus. Can you give details about what that means?
Yes. Most recently, since the Sandy Hook tragedy, which we're all aware of from a couple years ago, and prior to that, even going back 10 years with Columbine and other shootings that have been targeting schools since then, the Hart School District, and this is something that school districts across the nation have done, have looked to make sure that their perimeters are secure with fencing. We have campus supervisors on our school sites that are trained along with our administrators and many teachers on threat assessment, looking for students that may be at risk for something like this, being trained on what to look for. We're all hearing about mental illness now as a disease and what to watch for with that, and we are right on top of that. We have been working with experts from actually even FBI, CIA, those backgrounds, and local law enforcement to make sure that our staff and adults on campus are all trained to handle any kind of incident, and we have secured our perimeter during the school time as much as possible.
So if the threat is already a student that's at the school, though, if they've gone onto the premises, is there any sort of security, like if he got or she has a problem and they pack something in their backpack, they can get on campus without a security check, without anything at all? So what's the security measure for that type of situation?
I'll let one of the sheriffs come in on that, but from our viewpoint, and just to add a note, we have actually had different trainings on our schools from the Sheriff's Department. We've have had active shooter trainings on our school sites along with staff with the Sheriff's Department on how to respond in a case like that to minimize any injuries. And we take that very seriously. Unfortunately, we do not have metal detectors on our school sites, which is typical in most areas around the country, and feel that with our training that we've all had and that we continue to conduct for our staff, that we have that threat assessment training to preempt something from happening at our schools. And I'll let one of you jump in.
is the student going to receive psychiatric evaluation?
Usually what happens with students that are involved in this type of situation, we usually will contact LA County Mental Health Department. They have a SART team, and they basically will follow up with an individual just to see where they're at.
The reason I ask is I'm trying to figure out if there was like a case of maybe mental history, you know, some type of history with this child, you know, whether it be mental issues.
At this time, we don't know that. He hasn't been assessed in that sense. And then in regards to the campuses, as far as security, Each campus has usually a procedure that parents are supposed to follow, or students, where they check in or receive a visitor pass. Any individual that comes on campus that does not have one will usually be stopped and checked. And usually campus security is very good about coordinating with the school resource deputy that's on that campus. So they will usually conduct their investigations.